Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again. There's a saying in Jamaica, it's never too late. Nothing is ever too late. It's never too late to make anything happen. It is a fact that it's never too late. However, it does not mean it's not late. It does not mean that it's not late on the assumption that it's better late than never. Let me repeat that. It's never too late for something to happen, for someone to speak up or speak out for changes. It is a fact that it's never too late. However, it does not mean that it's not late. On the assumption that it's better late than never. Now, I just want to say right here and there, if you are listening to this video, please subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. Share, like, leave a comment, reach out and touch that notification bell. So when the next video drop, you'll be a part of it and you will be notified immediately. Now, my aim is to do this video in two parts because what comes out of this, I can speak on it for the next 3 hours. So I promise myself to do this, and for you, the benefit of my viewers, to do this in two parts, so bear with me. It is strange how the reality of the state of policing and the cry of our citizens has now opened and forced a confrontation between the government crime fighting policy and the abuse and the reality of the abuse of citizens. Part one of this video is how the reality of the state of policing and the cry of our citizens has now opened and forced a confrontation between the government crime fighting policy and the abuse faced by our citizens. The law that applies to innocent until proven guilty was reversed, or is now reversed under this JLP administration, to be guilty until proven innocent. Let me repeat that. The law that applies to innocent until proven guilty was and is reversed, is now reversed under this JLP administration to guilty until proven innocent. The situation has gotten so bad amid historic levels of fatal police shooting by the very security our Minister of National Security recently lauded for their effort in helping to reduce murders and other crimes to historic levels. The Commissioner of Police is now arguing for his cops, for his trained cops to exercise self-discipline in their use of force against the guilty until proven innocent citizens of Jamaica. He describes exercising self-discipline as more important than the checks and balances that comes with oversight. Listen, the Commissioner of Police emphasizes self-discipline as more important than the checks and balances that comes with oversight. Now, Mr. Commissioner, right here, I must jump in and ask you, how do you expect your police that you have trained not to lose and who has been operating for the past couple of years this way, not to lose, to flip the switch automatically, to become self-disciplined without any further training? and especially to be self-disciplined. When you yourself describe self-discipline as exercising control of your thoughts, or having control of your thoughts, emotions, and actions when they are under duress or it's confronted by a boisterous crowd. How do you expect that to happen? You tell the nation, Mr. Commissioner, because all these feel-good stories you guys are coming out and publishing in the Gleaner is just to make people feel good, and some section of the society, those who are not feeling the effects of police abuse, will feel good that you're saying something or doing something good. Let me be very clear on what your comment, Mr. Commissioner of Police. It dovetails, it fits squarely into what the Minister of National Security said about policing, and what he said about the Jamaican for justice. They're living off blood money, when they tried to point out or bring to the attention of you guys, as an oversight committee, to bring to the attention of you guys the increase in fatal police shootings. They never said they should stop it. They wanted to demonstrate, to highlight the increase, the concern of the increase in police fatal shootings. And that's when you didn't say nothing about it, Mr. Commissioner. You allowed the Minister of National Security to deal with it. And shortly after that, the Prime Minister came out with his other BS argument about all criminals to be eliminated from society. Now here you comes, advocating and requesting, as published in your regularly publication of the police force orders, advocating to all members of police of your organization to exercise self-discipline in whatever they do. On the other hand, sir, you're also advised, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. He wants police to exercise self-discipline. And as he determined or described self-discipline to be control of your thoughts, emotions, and actions. But on the other hand, the Commissioner of Police is saying, and he's warning hardened criminals not to confront cops with deadly force, because fatal shootings do not benefit anyone. The man is putting his foot in his own damn mouth. How do you expect police to exercise self-discipline when confronted by criminals with deadly force, or even with a boisterous crowd? How do you expect these things to happen? Just as you made it clear, sir, in your publication of force order, you expect every single member of the police force to exercise discipline of self when executing their duties. And that is absolutely a good thing to advise your police of, the police force. But I've said in my open comment, sir, it's never too late. And it is a fact that it's never too late, because it's better late than never. And the assumption that it is better to be late than never. And that is why I said it is important to advise them, every single member, to exercise self-discipline in the execution of their duty. What you have said, Mr. Commissioner, is it has definitely come too late. There's no way you can reverse public mistrust and distrust of police. There's no way you can reverse or reduce that level of distrust of police that the citizens have now have in police. There's no way to reverse that. And even if that is reversed, don't think one speech coming out of your mouth will have any impact on reducing that mistrust that citizens have for the police. It will not. And cannot. Because definitely, sir, your speech that was published in the Gleaner on May the 4th, which is today, came too late. Too late. But it is better to be late than never. What this is telling me, Mr. Commissioner, that there's a lot more work needs to be done. Because when I read your speech now, and listen to what the Minister of National Security previously said, they cannot equip police with body cameras because the uniform is not designed for that. How many police out there on the street working in uniform? And what will it take to retrofit uniform to fit body cameras? Nothing. It's not a difficult process. It's not a difficult process, Mr. Minister of National Security, Dr. Armstrong. And to piggyback on what the Prime Minister said, that all criminals will be eliminated from society. You three guys are missing one important element here. Citizens. Citizens' right. I'm sure when you think about crime fighting, none of you think about the impact it's going to have on citizens. And as a matter of fact, nowhere in the world, any country, as the Prime Minister clearly points out, that reducing crime, especially murder rate, to a particular level is helpful to economic growth and development. And I say that is clear, Mr. Prime Minister, but also converting your state to a police state does worse than what crime has on the negative impact crime has on economic growth and development. And coupled with that, the abuse and the suffering of citizens who are now viewed as guilty until proven innocent. Don't ask me to come to Jamaica to invest my money. Don't ask anyone to come to Jamaica to invest under that kind of condition. People don't want to come back home to those kind of crap. As I said, you guys are missing the real importance of fighting crime. And I'll say this from the very first video I made on crime fighting in Jamaica or any country for that world. Your crime fighting strategy or policy must be as broad-based as the community it intends to serve. What does broad-based mean? That every benefiting organization or entity must be a part of that crime fighting policy. And let me start at the top with government. Every entity or department of government, has a right to play or has a part to play in the struggle against crime. And if government cannot retrofit the educational system, retrofit the health sector, retrofit the social infrastructure of the country, retrofit job creation, everything, affordable cost of living, housing, What kind of crime are you fighting? Please tell the nation. And what kind of self-discipline or control police can exercise over their thoughts, emotions, and actions. When you expect the burden of solving crime alone is thrown on the backs of the police. Mr. Commissioner Dr. Blake, you should be a lot damn smarter than this. But I take it, ladies and gentlemen, when you are politically appointed, one of the first things it takes away from you is your freedom, your right to exercise your own judgment and thoughts, to bring your own ability to bear on a situation, to create your own way of your own type of solution for problems. When you are politically appointed or selected, you do not have those rights. You lost them because you now have to follow the political dictates as to how you're gonna do or how you will do your job. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to use this opportunity to say welcome once again to the Lenny Robbins YouTube channel. Know your politics. Let's come together to create a better understanding. And please, if you listen to this far, the video to this point, please, like I said, like, share, leave a comment. Click the notification bell. If you have not yet subscribed, subscribe to this channel. We need your support. We need your support urgently, and I can't stress it no more, but we need it to grow this channel. Coming up in part 2, I just want to give a quick synopsis of some of the things we're going to look at in part 2. One of the first things, I want to ask, I'm going to talk to the Commissioner of Police about this, because how can an officer, when confronted with a boisterous crowd, control his or her thoughts, emotions, and actions when they were not trained to lose by you, Mr. Commissioner? Does the Commissioner expect his security force to automatically flip the already established switch of treating citizens as guilty, even when innocent, to a more self-disciplined one? How can you expect a man to become self-disciplined in the blinking of an eye? It cannot happen. But ladies and gentlemen, here's the most important thing for me. Most important, the absence of this is so glaring and so daring, and is of such a high concern that I must mention it. I have not heard anything coming from Professor Anthony Clayton. Some of you may wonder what Professor Clayton has to do with this. But listen. He is a professor of Caribbean Sustainable Development at the UWI, and one who also served as deputy chairman and the Jamaica Constabulary Force Operational Reform Oversight Committee. Listen to this. He is a professor who is professor of Caribbean Sustainable Development at UWI. He also served as deputy chairman and the Jamaica Constabulary Force Operational Reform Oversight Committee. Where is this oversight committee? And what happened to Professor Clayton? Is he still there? Is the committee still in operation? Why? We haven't heard anything coming out of this. Ladies and gentlemen, I really don't want to get into it as yet, because this is part 2 of the article. This is part 2 to a response to Dr. Blake's comment about urging police to use self-discipline, to be more self-disciplined in the execution of their duty by controlling their thoughts, emotions, and action, because it's more important to do so. It's more important to do so than the oversight committee that has to evaluate, judge, and assess and comment and ridicule or criticize what police are doing. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Lenny Robbins YouTube channel. Wait, part 2 will be coming up pretty shortly. to this video, but Dr. Blake, Dr. Horace Chang, and Dr. Wellness, part 2 for this video is coming up, sir, and it's going to be more detrimental to the JLP administration, to the commissioner, and all of you guys who are running this policing crime fighting thing. You can't fight crime with police alone. The government role has to be tantamount to the success of police, not even citizens' role. Because citizens do not owe an obligatory participation. What they owe is a voluntary participation. The government owes an obligatory participation to participate in a meaningful way without trampling on the rights of citizens, without trampling on the rights of people who you have now deemed to be guilty until proven innocent, and expect them to help you fight crime. Ladies and gentlemen, LennieRobbins YouTube channel, over and out.